Okay, guys, we're finally going to get started into the side of the videos that I'm going to do to help you actually get into the industry, kind of learn a little bit about pay scales, what you're going to be doing on a day-to-day basis, and then we might deep dive into kind of like how I would go about things, and you can kind of use that to your own adjustment. You can kind of take the pieces that you like and get rid of the ones that you don't. So to jump right into it, I need you to answer two questions before we really get started in this video. I need you to take out a piece of paper, notepad, or something and ask yourself the question, how do you actually learn? Are you someone that can sit in a classroom or read a book on your own, ask questions to people, let them explain in their own ways and you understand it? Or are you someone that has to be hands-on? You have to actually practice, look at what you're doing, apply your skills that you've learned over the past, and then get the feedback in real time. And the second question is, where do you actually get satisfaction from? Do you like working with teams and just issuing documents and solving problems and hitting milestones? Or do you like being out in the field and being a part of a team and executing, getting units back up running, testing new equipment, getting it online? And these two questions basically will break down kind of what I'm fixing to jump into with the 5 different ways of getting into the instrumentation and control side. Career roadmap. The first path is typically we see chemical engineers and electrical engineers that jump into the EPC firms and instrumentation and controls. It's not necessarily this. I've seen mechanical engineers as well. But just one thing to note is basically what you're going to be doing when you're working for an EPC, which is a engineering procurement construction firm, is as an instrumentation controls guy, you're going to be doing the instrument index, the IO list, the cause and effect, the control narratives. You're going to work on instrument data sheets. You're going to review vendor packages. You're going to do FATs, which is factory acceptance tests, once you get the vendors to get their stuff ready to be tested. You're also going to do a couple of other things with this. You're going to interface in meetings. You're going to be in P&ID reviews. You could possibly be pulled into a HAZOP or a PHA. You could be asked to identify layers of protection as well on the P&IDs. You're also going to be responsible for making sure that the instrumentation is drawn correctly on the P&IDs. So this is just kind of a quick overview, but basically you could be involved in quite a bit from this side. But a lot of it's office work, it's all paperwork stuff. So you got to be the type of person that kind of thrives in that environment. So what I've seen from the pay range side, if you come in from college with a 4-year degree and you're going entry level, you're looking at typically 65,000 to 86,000 a year is kind of typical entry. Then once you get that midpoint, which is like your 5 to 10 years experience, you're going to crawl up towards 110 to 168,000. Typically it is closer to the 168. Typically you can get over 100K in your first 2 to 3 years if you're doing really well. And then on the senior side, or if you become a lead of a project, you can hit the 170 to 205,000. But with OT or overtime, you can easily top over 200K. Most EPCs, if you have billable work, you do get paid straight time overtime as an engineer. So that's something to think of as well. The second path is going the owner operator side. So being on the end user. So from this standpoint, you have a pretty much a big system ownership, whether it's the DCS side, the SIS, PLC side, APC, which is advanced process controls, maintenance, technical. The nice thing about the owner operator is you have a lot of stability and you got good bonus structures. And then you either have pensions or loyalty bonuses, which are the LTI bonuses. And the pay ranges for these, now the entry level, it's great because it starts you out higher. Typically what I've seen for the entry to mid-level candidates is about 103,000 to 130,000. Now, one thing to note, you typically want to try to intern with these owner operators to be able to come in as a grad. Otherwise, you're going to have a 3.6 GPA or higher typically. Going back down to the pay range for the senior and the leads, you could see 130,000 to 163,000 typically is what I've seen, but that number's probably increased, so it's probably closer to about 148,000 to 180,000. And then the top 10% of those people that are what I'd call an individual contributor that aren't really going into the management portion is around 200K. And then the good thing with the owner operator is the bonuses. So depending on how your company's structured, you could get anywhere of a 15 to 50% salary bonus. And then you also get the LTIs, like I said, which is a just long-term incentive or a loyalty bonus for staying there for a long time. Or you can have a pension. The 401k matches are really good as well. And medical benefits are a lot better, in my opinion, on the owner operator opposed to the EPC side. The third path would be just go into a 2-year instrument tech school. And this is not like a Division I college or any kind of college that's giving you the 4-year degree. It's just a 2-year hands-on technical degree. And then to get in on the owner operator side. Now, this is kind of difficult because, again, you need to know somebody to get in. And a lot of times they're not just always hiring these guys. Sometimes you're going to have to come in as a contractor first and then get pulled over. And then we'll go over the contractor part when I get to path 5. But to get back on this, typically what you do is you calibrate, you troubleshoot, you repair plant instruments, you do loop testing, you help during the turnarounds. Uh, you're usually on a call out schedule, but it's, in my opinion, one of the fastest ways to get a real paycheck. And then there's not a lot of travel involved. And right now, what I've seen in the Gulf Coast region where I work a lot is that, man, there's a huge shortage and the skill set, a lot of the talents, a lot of the older people that are looking for retirement. Pay range for your entry level, I've seen 35 to 45 bucks an hour. And then once you get in that mid to top tier, you can do 55 to 80 bucks an hour. Now, the great thing with the instrument tech is you go to a 2-year trade school, your college tuition's a lot less than if someone's going for a 4-year bachelor's degree at a Division I school. You come out, start making really good money, and then you get time and a half for your overtime. And so I can see people easily making over 150,000 plus pretty quickly. And so it's already putting you ahead of the money game when you compare it to a 4-year degree. Jumping on the path 4 is the EPC designer. So again, EPC is engineering, procurement, construction, and the designer is basically someone that does all the drawings in AutoCAD. You'll lay out the cable schedule, you'll work in the 3D model, you'll do the AutoCAD drawings for loop drawings, junction box drawings, interconnect wiring, any of the installation details, location plans, you name it. And the great thing with this is there's really no 4-year degree required. Again, to get in with minimum experience, it's good to know somebody. So it's always great to network. If you have someone you know or family or friend that is in this industry, they could potentially pull you in. The pay ranges, what I've seen from an entry level designer is 25 to 45 bucks an hour. And then once you get to that mid level to where you're pretty good on your own, you can get to 45 to 65 bucks an hour. And then when you're a senior designer and you're basically leading a project by yourself, you're at that 65 to 90 bucks an hour pay scale. And then if you can roll over and do like contract work with an owner operator, I've seen guys that get pretty good incentives and benefits, and then they're at that 100K to 140K pay range, but with the potential with overtime for time and a half to easily breach over 200K. Jumping into path 5, finally, this is the contractor. So this is a tough one. I call it chasing the money on the road. because there's usually a lot of travel involved. You're only going to be a contractor at a facility for like 3 months at a time or 6 months, or maybe you get lucky and you get a 1 year or longer contract. But usually you're getting per diem, which is like a housing allowance and a food and travel allowance along with your pay. So it's got the highest ceiling, but there's no real benefits unless the company offers decent benefits. Usually you don't get paid time off. Usually there's no 401k match, and usually the days are a lot longer. But I mean, if you're doing this path, you're looking for the overtime. So what I've seen a tech contractor make is anywhere from 35 to 100 bucks an hour. Some designers are 45 to 90 bucks an hour, and any kind of engineer slash specialist can get 55 to 120 bucks an hour. 120 bucks an hour is realistic. I've actually done contract work at 120 bucks an hour. So it's a great opportunity if you're looking to work, like say as an engineer for 60 hours a week. You're gonna get straight time overtime, but if you're working that 60 hours at 120 bucks an hour, that's 7,200 bucks in 1 week. So it's pretty nice, and you'll easily hit that 200K club territory. So kind of wrapping all this up, and my breakdown of the honest truth is: number one, the project phase matters more than the title. A senior EPC engineer in peak overtime can out earn the same person at an owner operator by 50 to 80K in a single year. But again, you have to be somebody that wants to work the overtime. So number two, the second year or the 2 year degree path is underrated. So a 20 to 22-year-old instrument tech out in the Gulf Coast Technical College can be earning 35 to 45 bucks an hour. And so he's out there really earning some money before that 4 year grad completes their college education and gets their first real paycheck. Another thing is they're not going to incur all that debt. Most degrees now cost anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000, in my opinion, per person. So I mean, you're going to be paying off those student loans for a long time, opposed to this 2 year tech that's out there making money. So in 10 years, $80 to $100 an hour is realistic for the right person. And so you could really have a great trajectory on a financial income standpoint if you go this way. And then just to segue real quick on these, what I've also seen with the instrument techs is if they do get signed on with the owner operator and they want to go to an engineering side, the companies usually help pay for that degree path. So you could be working and then take night classes on an online degree plan, and then in 4 to 6 years get that engineering degree and then grow, and then you're not stuck with all the student loans like you would be if you would have gone the other route straight out of high school. Number three, like I said, the shortage is real. Retirement's hitting the Gulf Coast pretty hard right now. I know a lot of the people I work with are in their 50s and getting older, and they've made some great financial moves throughout their careers, and they're starting to retire. Now, the tough thing with that is replacing people, especially on the owner operator side, because you don't get a lot of like hands-on experience on running units. So if you weren't fortunate enough as a young guy to come in during a construction or a brownfield addition to a facility and get a lot of hands-on experience troubleshooting and working through things, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get the skill set that those guys have had for working in that environment for like 20 plus years. So just understand, if that's a path you want to go, it's a great opportunity right now, because I do see the shortage becoming even worse in the coming years if we don't have a lot more individuals willing to go that instrument tech path. And then number four, the people who've done both sides are usually the ones that win. So EPC only engineers can't troubleshoot in the field, and you usually don't even know if what you're doing on the paper side worked in the field. Typically in the field, sometimes they'll send what they call RFIs in, request for information, to get clarification from the engineering. But if they're strapped for time and schedule, they're going to go ahead and just fix it on their own, and you're never going to know on the EPC side what they did to fix the mistake you made. And then maintenance only on that owner operator side. They don't really get the skill set and involvement to, read control narratives, cause and effects matrices, really understand like the way documents are developed. So if you get the opportunity to do both sides, it's great. And like I said, in the upcoming videos, I'll kind of explain my path and how I've done. But I started EPC side and then I went owner operator and then I've jumped contract to the contract side and then I'm now back owner operator side. So hopefully this helps a lot of you guys who are kind of looking at the instrumentation and control side for a career. I'd really advise if you're looking at making over $100,000 a year to chase this path. It's pretty fun. I've liked it because the instrumentation and control side's always changing, and it's such a wide variety of things. You can really pick something that like you like, whether it's that paperwork side in the office, and that could be developing the specifications, the data sheets, the narratives, dial list, index as an engineer, or be an AutoCAD guru as a designer and be doing a lot of the drawings, which is pretty fun. And then on the owner operator side, do you want to be an instrument tech that's working in the field, or do you want to be an engineer on the owner operator side to really like understand how a facility works and makes money? So it's just up to you. Appreciate you guys hanging around for the whole time. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like the video. Also comment. Like, I only know what I know. And if you guys have some comments or questions or would like to see some specific videos, just comment down below and I'll take the ones that show up the most in the comments and then I'll try to make a video that kind of touches on that stuff. But again, appreciate the time and you guys have a great week. And hopefully I'll get another video out sometime soon, maybe next week.